Welcome back to the office at Whitetail Ridge, and today we're going to be talking about a good cheap welder. Yeah, a lot of people hate on Harbor Freight because for the most part it is pretty cheap stuff, but you can find a few gems in the pile of junk, or junk as certain people call it. And this welder right here, the Chicago Electric 170, this has honestly been an extremely good welder for me. And there's really not a lot to say about it. It's a flux core welder that does have the option of gas to be put on it. And, you know, I'm not really big on trying to weld with gas right now. Most of the projects that I have are such small metal that I really don't care. And while I have been around quite a few welders in my life, whether it be, it really doesn't matter. TIG, stick, MIG, I've used them all, and I weld enough in my life to know what's going to work and what's not going to work. And this particular welder right here, I've had for 4 years. The only thing that I have actually used up on it, like burned up on it, is typical consumables. And I have replaced the whip just recently, actually, and it came with a new liner. And I did that because I had used it absolutely so much that I had melted every component in the whip. The gun was falling apart, and it was just an absolute mess. I have not upgraded the ground cable, and I really honestly should have, but I've just let it slide. It's been doing everything I've needed of it. You can weld anywhere from 22 gauge up to 1/4 inch with this. And the 1/4 inch, it's not recommended to do it without gas. I have, but it's not recommended. The typical stuff that I'm getting into is your average square or round tubing for like go-kart frames, or whatever, any kind of small framework like that. But I don't do any kind of major heavy duty welding with this. This is a perfect welder for a beginner, or teaching your kids how to weld, or just small around the farm, around the house, around the homestead projects. Just, it's your basic welder, get you done, get you in the door. And at $199 from Harbor Freight, you can't beat that. It'll do anything you're going to ask of it within that range. And to be honest with you, you can find deals like I found, where I went in and actually purchased this welder full price, got it home, realized that someone else had already purchased it, taken it home, used it, put it back in the box, took it back to Harbor Freight, and I left the store, was gone for like 30 minutes, came back, showed them what was going on. They ended up giving me, I can't even remember the ridiculous deal, but instead of paying $200 for it, I essentially got the welder for about $80 and an additional in-store credit of like $50 to $75. I forget exactly what it was because it's been so long, but you can find crazy deals like that at Harbor Freight because it takes a lot of load off of them, and they're not afraid to just pass on the savings when they have stuff coming in and out all the time like that. But like I said, simple, quick review. I've used this thing for 4 years, welded multiple small projects around the house. Haven't had one issue out of it except for when I melted the whip and the gun, like I said, which was completely my fault because this has about a 20% duty time on it, and then you have to let it sit for 8 minutes. So 2 minutes on and 8 minutes off. And I was ignoring that and just going to town, and man, it worked. It didn't lose any kind of power through the process, but I sure did melt some things. Either way, if you're looking for a cheap welder, quick, something easy to use around the house, easy to figure out, this is the way to go. It's 240 volts, $200. Can't beat it. Either way, have an amazing night, and thanks for watching.